Hey guys, it's Hannah and welcome back to the Dyslexic Reader. Today I'm going to be doing my March wrap-up. I can't believe it's the end of March, but it has come, April is upon us, and we need to do our wrap-up. Most of these were library books, so I'll just put the image of the cover up here because I don't actually have the thing to hold and talk about with you guys. I had 2 3-star reads, 2 4-star reads, and 3 5-star reads this month, so it was a pretty good reading month. I read more than I thought because they were all pretty long books. So I'm actually very happy with my March 2018 reading scenario. But let's just get into what I thought of these particular books. The first book I read was The Dollmaker of Cracow by R.M. Romero. I'll put the little picture in here, and this was a 5-star read. This was about a doll maker in Krakow just before World War II and sort of during the first bit of World War II, and he is a toy maker and he makes this doll that comes to life, and there's kind of like a little magic story, and it's about him trying to help his Jewish friends through the Nazi invasion. And I normally do not like the rains on, typical. I normally do not like war books, but I really thoroughly enjoyed this. I thought it was really well done. It was just nicely done. It was just enough, not too much, not too little. They just kind of went deep enough and gave you ideas without saying anything too explicit. The ending was beautiful, and I just thought overall it was a great book. So this was a 5-star for me. I would definitely read it again, and I would definitely recommend it. Book 2 was A Teal of Camelot, and this was the first book in the Mice of the Round Table series, and it's exactly what it sounds like. It's sort of Arthurian tale, but there's Camelot with the humans, and then underground there's a Camelot of mice, and they have a very similar setup, and the sort of mice get involved in the human story, and it was just a good read. I love Arthurian legend, and I love anthropomorphic animals, so put those two together and I really enjoyed it. I did only give it a 3-star. I didn't think the characters were fleshed out enough, and I thought a lot of it could have been edited slightly differently. I could have used more of some aspects and a lot less of other aspects. I didn't really connect with any of the characters particularly, but I liked the story. So I got this from my library, and if I see book 2, I probably will end up picking it up. Like, I would continue on with it because it was a nice, enjoyable, fast read, but it was just nothing fantastic. My next book was another 3-star read. This was The Boundless by Kenneth Opel, and I think I would have marked this maybe a 4-star if I had knew what it was. I was told, by reading the synopsis, what I was told was it was a murder mystery middle grade on a train. That is not what it was. A murder took place, but the murder takes place right at the start, and we know who's murdered and we know who the murderer is, and the rest of the book is just our character trying to get away from the murderer and to like tell somebody. So it was not a murder mystery book. It was an adventure story with just a murder twist. And I did enjoy the story and how it unfolded. I enjoyed the characters, and the writing was okay. But I think in my head, I was like, where does like the mystery kick in? Are we going to get to the end and find out it wasn't him, that he saw what he saw, you know, was him trying to help the person and another person was the murderer? Like, where's the mystery going to kick in? And it didn't exist. So that for me was a big letdown, and I think that's why I only gave it 3 stars. But I think if you know going in that it's an adventure story and not a murder mystery, it would be very enjoyable. My next read I do own a copy of. It is Blame by Simon Mayo. This is a book where heresy crime is a thing, and basically families are punished for their family members' crimes. So if I was to commit a crime and die before I could be sentenced, then my child would have to serve out my sentence, like that kind of thing. And it happens after the recession in the UK, so a lot of the bankers and their family, people who were deemed responsible for the financial downfall, are jailed, but these people are held in kind of like a separate ward, like almost like a family unit in the prison. But riots and stuff happening in the prison, and they've got to get out. And I don't want to say much more than that because I feel like I would spoil it, but it was definitely a good read. I enjoyed the world, and I enjoyed like the backstory, and I liked how it made me think about certain things, but it was a bit of a letdown. I have owned this book for a while, and I've been wanting to read it for so long, and I've always just been like waiting for the right time, and I felt like now was the right time, and I didn't get as much out of it as I would have liked, so I ended up giving it a 4-star, but it definitely was very interesting and unique. My next read was an ebook. It was actually an ARC that I have from NetGalley, and this doesn't come out until the 3rd of April, I believe. At least that's the date that NetGalley's given me for, maybe that's just the UK release date. And this is Blue Window by Adina Gurwitz. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And this is a story where a family of 5 siblings are just in their house, and they notice something goes weird with their window, like it seems to not look as it should, and they lean against the glass and fall into another world. And this other world is very bizarre, and it gave me very Wizard of Oz feels the first time I read the Wizard of Oz series, just falling into this bizarre new world. And the way it was written, we don't get any really explicit explanations of what's going on here. Is this in the future, the past, an alternate dimension? It doesn't really ever say. It doesn't explain a lot of the things, but that's kind of what I liked about it. There wasn't necessarily a lot of world building. We didn't get a lot of that. It was more the characters' personal development in the story as they try to find a way home. I really enjoyed the magic system and how the society was set up. I thought their writing style was really good. The format that I had kind of pulled me out a wee bit because as an ARC, the formatting of the e-copy was not, it was not fine-tuned. There was like one letter and then the rest of the sentence like down below, which was just not formatted to its finished standard. And I felt like that pulled me out of the story a wee bit, but I still give it 5 stars. This was so unique. I loved all the characters. I loved how the story progressed. It was well over 500 pages long, and I had it finished in 2 days because I could just not sleep because I had to know what happened to these children. I thought the children were really well written. The voice, you know, it was like, it really was like a child's voice. And I found like it split up into 5 books, and each book is from a different child's perspective. So we start with the oldest daughter, Susan, and then we go through to the youngest daughter. And I felt that that was well done, the different perspectives. Normally I don't like that. I did. I thought it switched perspectives just at the right time, and I found that there was something incredibly endearing and relatable about each of their personalities, which were really well formed. I think this is probably one of the best character-led kind of middle grade stories that I have ever read. The character development and how well they were fleshed out was incredible for middle grade, so this was a 5-star easy. Next up was The Scandalous Sisterhood of Prickwell Place by Julie Berry. This is a middle grade murder mystery. I really enjoyed this. If you like the movie Is a Clue, like the board game, and there's a movie of that, and it's very comedy led. This is kind of the thing. It's more of a comedy than a murder mystery. It's very funny. Each of the girls are very much a stereotype, and it's these 7 girls who live in a finishing school. It's just the 7 girls, just run by a woman to really help her financially to keep house. And over dinner, the headmistress and her brother drop dead of poisoning, and it's a murder mystery. The girls try to hide the bodies and run the school and hope that nobody notices that the headmistress is gone, and it is incredibly funny. The characters, although funny and very stereotypical, kind of break boundaries, especially it's set in, I don't think we have a year, but it's Victorian settings, kind of break the expectations of young women and show that like a girl could fit a stereotype, but that's not all she is. She can be so much more. So I really enjoyed how the young ladies were written in this. And I didn't see the twist coming at the end, so it's always a great mystery to me if I haven't worked it out. I thought I had it all planned out in my head, and then at the last minute it all switched around. And normally I hate that if they're like, oh, this way, this way, this way. Last couple of pages swam another way, but I really enjoyed it. It was funny, it was an easy read, and I really enjoyed the characters and the mystery, so there's not much more that I can say. I gave it a 4-star. And my final read of the month was Haruki Murakami. That's the best I can do on the pronunciation of the name, I'm afraid. Kafka on the Shore. This was a book that I've been meaning to pick up for a while. I have seen it about and I was going to buy it, but I was looking for a second-hand copy, couldn't get one cheap enough. Never even thought of looking in my library, which is not me at all. And then I walked in a couple of weeks ago and it was just sitting there. I didn't even have to put it on hold. It was just on the shelf staring at me. So obviously I picked it up right away. This book, you guys, it's a 5-star. I'll tell you that starting off. The writing in here is incredible, and I'm sure that's partly Murakami and partly translator. I will see if I can find out. No, the translator of this particular edition is not named, but it was written so beautifully and it will mess with your head. It was so introspective. I had to like read a wee bit, put it down and kind of just like sit in silence for a while. Let it percolate and filter through and then pick it up and read another wee bit. So it took me a long time. Well, it is a chunker. It's over 500 pages and the text is tiny and very dense. But it took me such a long time because I had to keep setting it down and just thinking about it. I'm not going to read you the back because I feel like the back doesn't explain what it is about, but I also don't want to tell you what it's about because I think it's so much better going in kind of blind. But our two main characters are a 15-year-old boy who runs away from home and a 60-something-year-old man who lives in the same neighbourhood who had an accident, a weird, freakish accident when he was 9 and lost all memory and a lot of abilities. He can't read or write, could never learn to read or write, can't hold memories, speaks in the third person, but he can speak to cats. And that's all I really want to tell you. Their stories intertwine beautifully. It is extremely well written, extremely well paced and thought out. But I will give you a warning. This will mess with your head. Not only does it make you think a lot, it is incredibly dark. It's incredibly dark. There is animal mutilation to a gory degree. There is incestual sex. There is rape scenes. There is talk of suicidal thoughts. There's some nasty business. It tackles a lot of topics beautifully. It tackles gender, feminism, political correctness gone wrong in a beautiful balance. And I really can't describe it to anyone because it's so beautiful. My brain is still trying to get around it. This is definitely one that I will be purchasing for myself. This is the library's copy. And I will be rereading it again and I will be annotating and highlighting like the whole text. It is beautiful, dark, sad, enlightening. It is everything you could possibly want in a book. I will tell you it's heavy going. You have to be in a good mindset to read this book. If you're at all in any way struggling with your mental health or it's not good at the minute, I wouldn't suggest picking this up. It is very heavy, it is very dark, and it makes you really look at yourself and think. But if you're in a good mental health state at the minute, it is it will blow your mind. That is the 7 books that I read in March 2018. If you've read any of these books, let me know down below and we can talk about them, especially Kafka on the Shore, because my mind is still reeling. And if you want to read any of these books, definitely let me know too. I'd be interested to see if you guys are interested in reading them, if I've sparked any interest. Any other questions, you can comment down below. All my social media is linked in the description. I friend everyone on Goodreads. I'm really active on Goodreads, so if you want to see what I'm reading and my ratings and stuff, before my wrap up throughout the month, that's one place to go. I'm also quite active on Twitter. I don't maybe tweet a lot, but I like and follow and those kind of things a lot more. I don't think I have enough things to say to be on Twitter. But if you're not subscribed to this channel, please do. We all know that YouTube is changing up their stupid thing so that you don't see people's videos. So if you can hit that bell, I normally don't say all this stuff, but really, even if you're subscribed, you might not be getting my videos. So please hit the bell to make sure that that happens. And subscribe, why not? It's free. I would really appreciate the support. And that's it for this week. I hope you're all happy. I hope you're all healthy. And hopefully I'll see you in my next video. Goodbye.